Hi everybody, this is John Morrow. Thank you for being a part of my family, for following me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, for watching my videos on YouTube and the ones that I'm able to post on social media, as well as my podcasts on SoundCloud and available in the iTunes store. You know, 2 years ago when this process started, I was on a journey. And it was an interesting journey because I was moving into an area which I thought I knew a great deal about. But I want to tell you a little story. Over 30 years ago, to be exact, it was the early part of 1985, I had left the broadcasting industry as a disc jockey. It's what the microphone represents. This was my life. For 13 years, I had sat behind a microphone similar to this, except it was actually up on a boom that came over the top of the console. Now you have to understand, in my day as a disc jockey back in the 70s and the early 80s, the technology was not what they have today. You could imagine, if you would, a control console right here directly in front of me with knobs. They were referred to as POTS, P-O-T-S. POTS was short for potentiometers. Potentiometers were strictly specially designed volume controls that had governors built into them. Those governors helped me to keep from being too loud and therefore doing what we call pegging the needle into the red. But at the same time, they had a minimizer in there that allowed me, if I got below a certain volume, it would bring the voice up so that it would be a good, clear, audible sound coming across the airwaves to the people listening. But it really wasn't about me, the disc jockey. It was about the disc that I was jockeying, much like a jockey directs a horse. Back in that day, we spun what we call vinyl. 33 1/3 LPs, 45 RPM records. Now, if you go to dance clubs and everything, you've seen these guys here called the DJs. And even back in the day when DJs first started traveling and doing parties and gigs and banquets, they carried a library of 45 RPMs and 33 1/3 LPs. But technology has changed all of that. Now everything is digital. All you have to do is just punch in a number and press a button and boom, it's out there. And it's out there in incredibly crisp and clear dynamic sound. No noise, nothing. It's just sharp and clean. In my day, if a record had a scratch on it, you knew it. Because you'd be sitting there spinning that record and all of a sudden you'd get to a phrase and it would go, and go, and go, and go, and go, and go. And you'd have to stop it and say, sorry folks, got to change records. It's an interesting lifestyle. And it was a good time. But in 1985, I made a change in direction. I took a risk. I moved into an area that I had not moved into before. I got involved in the advertising specialty sales business, and I stepped out and took a chance at doing something outside the world of being a DJ. Part of that process was being introduced to Toastmasters and discovering that as much as I knew about being a disc jockey and about being a radio personality, as much as I had trained my voice, being a boy from Chattanooga, Tennessee, who could actually talk like this all the time if I wanted to, because I was born and raised in that kind of country. What I'm trying to say is that I had to discipline myself. I had to work on my speaking. I had to practice, practice, practice. And here I was, I thought, I'm going to be successful dealing with people in sales. Then I made a shocking discovery, and I was dismayed because I was falling flat on my face in this business of sales until I met Toastmasters. And when I met Toastmasters, I learned something about communication. Communication is not just about me as the speaker. To be a great communicator, you have also got to be a person who is willing to shut up and listen. Now that sounds like a pretty harsh thing to say. You don't tell people to shut up. But that's exactly what I needed to do. I needed to shut up. I needed to listen. And not just listen, but listen with an authentic, deliberate, intense determination to connect with the speaker. To listen with the desire to know what makes them tick. What are they thinking about? What's on their mind? What is it they really want? And it's interesting, when you start asking people about the things that are important to them, they're going to tell you. They may be a little standoffish, particularly if you're meeting them for just the first time. But I can assure you of one thing. If you show a sincere focus, and you're less concerned with getting a word in edgewise, and more concerned with finding out what makes them tick and what really resonates deep within their heart as a business person and as a human being, they're going to relax, they're going to warm up to you, they're going to develop a relationship with you, and you are going to be able to learn what it is that you can do for them to help them accomplish their objectives, and you to provide them with what they need to do that. It's a win-win. Mark Guy has been spending a lot of time talking about the importance of successful sales techniques. And you'll be hearing Mark talk in his program, Speak Brave, about funnels, sales funnels, and about the ABCDEs of selling. That's right, ABCDEs of selling, not just the ABCs of selling. And you'll also hear Mark talk about authentic communication, about emotional intelligence. These are things that I have learned through Mark Guy's guidance, as well as the books that he has put me on to, and the people that I have begun to surround myself with in my journey as a professional speaker in the field of I never noticed. What can I tell you about this little message? Life is a learning process. The people that are successful are the ones who spend more time listening, more time learning, and then translate what they learn into how they can better help people with their message. In the forthcoming message that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to tell you an interesting story that just recently happened to me. And I'm going to bring back a word that you have seen me talk about before, fear. And I'm going to introduce you to an aspect of fear that is almost as debilitating as the fear of almost certain death. I hope you'll join me for it. For now, remember this. You want to give a gift to someone? The gift is look at them and listen to them. You'll learn something that will change your life and theirs forever. I'm John Morrow. Have a good day.